If you run a multi-billion-dollar tech company, this is highly unusual corporate communication. But Pavel Durov runs Telegram by a very different set of rules. The Russian Federal Security Service, or FSB, had just announced that Durov was being placed on an international wanted list. His alleged crime? Facilitating terrorism. This chart shows how aggressively the state pursued the app. The top half maps hostilities, criminal investigations, terrorism charges, and throttling access. But the bottom half shows daily reliance. Despite criminalizing the platform, the Russian government and state media post every single day. The Russian military and government rely heavily on this exact digital network to function. Yet Moscow is treating the platform less like an app and more like a hostile sovereign territory. The immediate trigger for these new charges traces back to the conflict in Ukraine, turning Telegram into a massive, active virtual battlefield for both sides. When Tinder pulled out of Russia, young people needed an alternative. A dating chatbot built right into Telegram called Divinchik, or Leo, stepped in and quickly gained a massive following. According to the FSB, Ukrainian intelligence agents saw an opening. They allegedly posed as young women on the chatbot, initiating conversations to entrap and coerce Russian teenagers. The allegations coming out of the FSB headquarters are severe. Over the past year, they claim 46 Russians between the ages of 12 and 22 were recruited through this exact bot and convinced to set fire to transport and energy infrastructure. A simple digital dating service morphed into a tool for youth radicalization and physical sabotage. When a platform is completely unregulated, the transition from a communication tool to a weapon of war happens incredibly fast. Pavel Durov built Telegram specifically to allow this level of unrestricted communication. His architectural choices are rooted in a radical commitment to total neutrality and absolute non-cooperation with state authorities. He has clashed with the state over this before. In 2014, Durov was running VK, essentially Russia's equivalent of Facebook. When the government pressured him to hand over user data, he refused, sold his stake, and fled the country entirely. His total refusal to moderate content or build encryption backdoors for law enforcement infuriates Moscow, and it causes massive friction across the globe. That exact same philosophy of unyielding digital neutrality is what led to his arrest in France in 2024, where democratic authorities accused him of failing to adequately counter criminal activity on the app. It puts Russia in an impossible bind. Telegram's lack of moderation makes it an ideal environment for Ukrainian espionage, which brings massive security risks. Yet, that exact same uncensorable, secure architecture is the only reason Russian troops can safely coordinate their own tactical efforts on the front lines. So, if the Russian military relies on the app, why is the state issuing these severe terrorism charges? It is a desperate legal tactic meant to corner Durov and force him to surrender control of the platform. But physically cornering him is incredibly difficult. Durov holds Emirati and French passports and operates out of Dubai. While the UAE maintains friendly relations with Moscow, they are fiercely protective of their image as an attractive, safe hub for international business. The FSB has stated they want him on an international wanted list, but legal experts point out that getting Interpol to issue a swift red notice against a high-profile tech billionaire is a long, highly bureaucratic long shot. Durov has largely brushed off these threats. When he previously received a summons delivered to an old Russian apartment, he wrote online that they must suspect him of defending constitutional rights to privacy and free speech, adding, "proud to be guilty." Digital communication can no longer be neatly controlled by national borders. Borderless tech platforms have built architectures that successfully outmaneuver the traditional leverage of a nation-state. When Telegram's official account posted that middle finger, it was a deliberate statement. It stands as a definitive symbol of an environment where independent tech platforms can look global superpowers in the eye and refuse to blink.